Hello, hello.
Hello. Welcome everyone to another Cosplay Myths Podcast. I'm Rebecca and my co-host is Deborah.
Hi.
Say hi. Okay, everyone. So last week we talked a little bit about makeup and some makeup tips of putting on makeup, taking off makeup, and basically general makeup tips for being at con. This week we're going to go into a little bit of specific makeup tips for cosplay. So we're not going to go over the general stuff. As we said last time, there are hundreds of thousands of videos to put makeup on. Also, it's a lot of practice. This is true for what we're going to talk about today too. But again, practice, 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 and watch lots of videos and just try. So today what we're going to do is we're going to cover very specific cosplay related makeup tips. So Deborah, you're going to have to walk us through because again, I know next to nothing.
Yeah, no problem. I know one of the most common questions is how do you eyebrow, I guess is the best way to say this. um, but so I guess first off, I know one of the questions is, do I match my eyebrows to my wig color? Yes. If you have a bright wig, go with maybe like a darker red for your eyebrow. Because if you've got, again, like a blue or red or something wig and you've got blonde eyebrows, it's gonna look really weird, regardless. So don't be afraid to get like some eyeshadow or eyeliner, um, and just put a little bit in your eyebrow, get a smudge brush, and just kind of just smudge in a little bit there. And it doesn't have to be perfect if you don't want to worry about getting that out later. Makeup wipes also and face wash that will help you get that out perfect. Um, so it's definitely one of my favorite things to do. I remember back when I first started doing that because I cosplayed Ariel for a bit. Some of my friends made fun of me because I had dark red eyebrows instead of my normal blonde. Like, oh, your blonde would have worked fine. Sorry, my cat is clawing my knee. um, And at first, like they made fun of me until what's funny is the next year later is that became more of the trend to actually make sure you match your eyebrows to your wigs. So no one said anything since. So hey,
I do have a question,
um,
Deborah. Is there like a guide somewhere that tells you what all of the different names for the makeup tools are and what they do?
yes. Actually, if you look when you're going makeup brush shopping, actually, a
Mm-hmm.
good makeup shop will have them labeled for you. Like smudge brush. That's the only one I can think of, honestly, is smudge brush. Um, But I do if you're able to, you can honestly just Google it and it'll tell you like the different angles for brushes. A lot of makeup artists actually, when they're doing their stuff, will show you their makeup brush and like this is the best brush to do for this kind of look. Granted, you don't have to use the just because it's labeled for a specific look doesn't mean you have to use it for that. I have actually I have two different smudge brushes, one's thicker than the other. I use that for a good like 80% of my looks because it lays the makeup right how I like it. And I'm used to using just two brushes sometimes. So you also don't have to get that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, One thing to look into when you are getting makeup brushes is the kind of brush. What the bristles are made of. There are many different kinds. So if you're concerned about using vegan products and things like that, definitely make sure you're looking at what the bristles are made of. A lot of the top name brands, though, if they're because there's like squirrel, there's squirrel squirrel hair, boar, horse, and there's one other I can't remember, I believe. There's also synthetic as well. Each one will act a little bit differently. So if you're concerned about getting like the boar hair and whatnot, a lot of them are cruelty free. They get it just like you would, just like how musicians get their horse hair tail bowstrings. Everything is done humanely. But if you're concerned about it, check. You can check the site, the product. Usually it'll list it there for you, and you can also look up reviews. But again, that's only something if you are going for that level of quality. Synthetic ones honestly work just fine too.
Always good to know, because there is, like, I swear I walk down the makeup aisles some days and I'm just like, what sorcery am I in?
I do that myself sometimes. Some of the makeup displays are displayed oddly for me, so I'm just like, because they'll separate the eyeshadows from like, here's your basic, like peaches, pinks, and browns, and then like 2 rows over they'll have like, oh, here are your vibrant colors, but then it's not all vibrant at the same area, and they'll have it mixed up, and I'm like, what? Just give me a blue. I just want blue.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's one thing, is sometimes you're going to have to search for that specific color to make you look like who you're supposed to look like.
Yeah, that was my time this weekend, or earlier this
Oh.
week. I was trying to find
All
a
right,
white eyeshadow.
Good luck.
Yeah.
All right. So we were talking about eyebrows, which is what brought up the smudge brush. So, and now we know we can use basically any product that gets the job done and what we're comfortable with using, and make the eyebrows match the wig, which makes a lot of sense from my point of view, because it's like, if your eyebrows are a different color, unless that's something like there are a lot of anime characters who have different colored eyebrows compared to their hair, but for the most part, a lot of people, their eyebrow color matches their hair color.
Yeah. Usually be a shade or two darker than the actual hair. You don't want to match it to a T, but for sure, like a shade or two darker if you can, or just something a little smidge darker than what you've got.
That would make sense. All right. So, but there are also anime characters out there who have like insane eyebrows. So, can you, like, how do you make, like, you've got those characters who have eyebrows that go up to like here or something, and it's like, well, how do I make these look like that?
Yeah. Well, usually with the more dramatic eyebrows, usually there's a makeup tutorial on how to do them better. However, for like basics, so say you can only see like only half of your eyebrows needed for this, and the rest is gonna be, up your forehead. So first off is you're gonna want to find a way to conceal the other half of your eyebrows so you don't, got this random line right here. And the best way to do that, oddly enough, is Elmer's glue. So
Really?
I know. Yes, it's actually
the
a trick.
stuff we played with like kids.
Uh, yes and yeah, pretty much. So you're gonna get like an Elmer's glue stick. Some people recommend the purple one that disappears. You can use that or the clear one. But since you get a glue stick, you just start wiping it in there, and then get a foundation, preferably liquid first, and then kind of mix that in, and slowly, sure enough, it might take like 3 or 4 layers sometimes, depending on how dark your eyebrows are and how thick your eyebrows too. But yeah, you just do that, glue, foundation, glue, foundation, and then slowly and surely you'll see like they'll disappear. And then you're going to want to put some powdered foundation and or concealer on top, to really kind of seal it in there. I know I've read somewhere that someone recommended using spirit gum. Personally, I don't recommend spirit gum because that's going to rip your hair out. So I would stick to Elmer's glue, and or I don't think there's a product based specifically for hiding your eyebrows, but you can also check actually with like drag queen YouTubers, because they're the ones who started that actually. So I've gotten a couple makeup trips from watching drag queens actually, and they're good. They know what they're doing with makeup wise. So you want to hide eyebrows, just look up a drag queen. They got you covered.
Good to know. Okay, so that's how you like change eyebrows and that's so you don't have to shave your eyebrows. So it's like if you had like a character who has like no eyebrows whatsoever,
Hmm.
it's like, oh, just hide the eyebrows. And then you don't
Yeah.
have to pluck them. And then you're not explaining to the rest of the world why you don't have eyebrows.
Yeah, no, for sure. If you don't want to pluck or tweeze, wax, all the other methods for changing your eyebrows, you really don't have to. I'm really bad about keeping my eyebrows up to date. And so I keep mine a specific shape for when I'm cosplaying. So I don't have to worry about altering my eyebrow shape too much. But sometimes, you got that character that has that really dramatic arc. And so you're just like, okay, I gotta draw like just a little bit right there. And yeah, there's nothing wrong with having like half drawn and half natural. As long as you, again, blending, just make sure you blend and you're fine.
And that's why it's
But
always recommended that you practice and you try it before the con or the day of the con because otherwise you're going to be panicking.
yeah, no, do it like a week or two at minimum because you don't know, like maybe you're gonna have a reaction to getting the Elmer's glue out or in,
Oh,
or yeah, I say make sure you're not allergic to Elmer's glue. Great, I don't think most people are allergic, but it's also going on your face. So do a patch test, like your chin or something, and this way it's easy enough to hide. But yeah,
mm-hmm.
that's the case
All
though with
right.
any product you're putting on your face, patch test.
And does the patch test have to be on your face or could it be on like a different part of the skin, like your arm or your hand or just somewhere it's like, oh, it's not on the face, it's not as visible.
Yeah, no, it's actually recommended that you do it on your hands, like the back of your wrist, and then also on the lower part, since this is more tender skin. Um, I know for me, like for foundation wise, I do have to do it on my face because I won't have a reaction on my hands. But if I put foundation on my face, I'll get a little bit of like a redness, or an itchy if I'm having a reaction. Whereas my hand, it'll be just like makeup. What is this?
All right. Good to know. Um, One of the other big things is like when you're is that a lot of people want to cosplay the opposite gender. And so how do you make say a person who has very feminine features look masculine or vice versa?
Yeah, so that'll be where contouring comes in. There are lots of makeup tutorials on how to do this. Again, drag queen, drag kings, they've got you covered on that angle. I definitely recommend looking at some of them. There are, of course, cosplay makeup tutorials, and standard makeup tutorials on how to do that better. But again, it comes down to contouring. So as you can see, I have a very round face. So if I wanted it to look more masculine, I would do right above what is angles here. Um, I would go actually above my cheekbone and kind of just bring it more of like a sharp angle, and then down and contour my chin to make it look a little bit more square. You can also, my brain completely froze there, sorry. There's a lot of different methods. It kind of depends on what look you're going for. If you're going for a specific character, what is their face shape? Do they have a square, more of a square jaw? Are they more round faced? Diamond, and that's where you're going to be look at like contouring. And at that case, you could look up honestly just standard contouring. What are they called? Palette images. And that will
Mm.
show you how to contour each face shape. And then you can kind of judge based on that, like, okay, so it says here for a round face, you're gonna really want to like soften the line. So just like nice, round, and then focus under the chin, not over the chin, and just things like that.
Oh, Deborah, we have a question. So the question is, what do you use for full body makeup? I think we talked a little bit about this last time.
full body. It depends on what kind of full body makeup you're doing. Are you trying to do body paint, like paint on clothes or muscles? Um, so that'll be very dependent if it's clothes, body paint.
Oh,
So
like if
let's see.
I wanted to do Jinbei from One Piece. Yes, One
I'm not
Piece.
from I'm not familiar with Jinbei. Oh no.
So
Uh,
Jinbei
let's see.
is a fishman. He's got gills on, I think they're on the side of his neck. He's very muscular, very big, gills, and he's blue. Kind of
Oh, okay.
bluish.
I haven't gotten to him yet. Yeah, I just looked up a photo of him. Okay, so he's 100% going to be body paint for sure because he's blue. You can even use eyeshadow to contour some of his looks. So like for the gills, you could do either body paint. I also recommend maybe do some eyeshadow to really get some of that contouring look so you can actually see like the angles in the gill.
Mm.
Um, if you don't have like stubble on your chin, you could actually either draw that on, or if you want to be dramatic, you could also get um on one of our video we talked about wigs, we talked about lace front. There's actually facial hair lace front you can get. So you can blend that into like again facial hair.
Mm-hmm.
But his is again definitely going to be more body paint rather than makeup. But also you can use eyeshadow to do body paint to help with body paint contouring because you got like a liquid on your face and then you're gonna be like putting more liquid trying to blend that sucker in. It's not always easy. It's a pain in the butt sometimes. Ah,
Oh,
yeah, there he is.
yep, there is Jinbei.
Yeah,
So
but yeah.
nice. But yeah, so that's actually a really good question. And I would like you can really can so you were talking about using eyeshadow to help with the contours,
Mm-hmm.
which I will be honest, I never would have thought to use eyeshadow anywhere else except on the eye area.
Oh yeah, no fantasy makeup. Again, body paint. Eyeshadow is great for contouring because think of like body paint like just like a foundation. You put it down and you got a flat color. But foundation doesn't come in any of the colors that you need, or it does, but it doesn't blend in as well on top of other foundations. So you're like, okay, I need a powder now. Well, you're blue skinned. What can you use that's blue? So eyeshadow, honestly, get like a matte color unless you want some glitter in there, depending on what you're using it for. But generally, matte, a good matte eyeshadow does great. I did that when I cosplayed my D&D character last year, I think it was. But she was this dark blue skinned, so I used a darker navy blue eyeshadow to contour my face, nose, and a little bit of my neck and chin. But yeah, you can use it. Don't be afraid to get creative with it.
So it's basically
it's
a lot of it is going to be you learning what each type of makeup can do and then just applying that logic to others. So it's a little bit science, a little bit art, and that kind of makes me happy.
yeah. Let's say this is something like professionals take years to learn. There's specific classes you have to take, and it can take a year or two, if not longer, depending. Because again, there's special effects makeup, wedding makeup, everyday makeup, and each one is different. And yet, as cosplayers, we have to learn all of this at once. So it's just
So
like give yourself
let's
some credit.
debunk this myth. Yeah, let's debunk one myth while we're here. The myth makeup is easy. False. So very false. It's not even funny. So if you ever get to where people are like, oh, you could just put makeup on, just remind them that makeup is not easy. There is like figuring out what works for you, finding the tools that work for you, and then finding the look that works for you. And that's just everyday makeup. If you're taking into account cosplay makeup, that is a monster and a beast. And if you don't get it on your first try, if you don't get it on your 80th and 90th try, and you have to call in professional help, aka some cosplayer you have made friends with or some friend who is really good at makeup, that's sometimes what you got to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even me, who I've been practicing makeup for years, and I'm actually studying it myself. I still have to get some of my friends to help me. I'm just like, okay, what color is this? What will work? Because one shade of red is gonna look vibrant on me, whereas on Rebecca, it's gonna look not as vibrant or a different kind of shade of red.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but we do have another question.
Mm-hmm.
If I use prosthetics on my face and I don't know my skin tone and makeup form, what's an easy way to find the right shade? Ooh, that's a
Oh,
really
that's
good
a good
question.
one. Mm-hmm. So at that point, if you're going for the nicer makeup, makeup brands like Urban Decay, or I think one's like Kate Von D, you can actually go and test the makeup foundations on your wrist here, and kind of like blend it in to see how it matches. Another good spot is right under to see how it covers your veins and again blends in. You're gonna want something that's pretty close to your hand area, but also if you're not really comfortable doing that kind of thing, if you go to if you go to Sephora or the Bare Minerals main store, and I believe, yeah, Ulta still does it. If you go to Ulta as well, you can actually talk to them, and they'll have someone who can color match your face more accurately. They have devices nowadays where they just hold it up to your face, and it'll take several photos of your skin tone, and then recommend you products and color names based on that.
Mm.
So
And
honestly, I
then
recommend talking to. Oh, sorry.
you go.
Okay. I recommend honestly talking to someone at like again Ulta or Sephora, because they can color match you far better than you can yourself. I have a couple times where I spent $50 on a foundation and it was the wrong color.
Oh,
So I recommend just talk to them. I know it can be anxiety ridden and it's really hard, but you'd be like, I don't know what I'm doing with foundation. What color am I? They get it. Even again, I've been doing makeup forever and I still buy the wrong color.
yep. So, and then once you know your color, you can actually take the prosthetic because I haven't worked with a lot of prosthetics, but I know with like scars, they'll have some stuff on the side that looks like skin, and you can just blend that. You could just use the foundation to blend that into your own skin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. With prosthetics, it's going to generally be a standard color, and most people aren't. There's a lot of yellow in prosthetics, so most people aren't that yellow. So if you don't want to do the entire prosthetic and risking of like altering the color too much, just do the edges so it blends into your face a little bit, and you just build it up. And just make sure you blend. Blending is what you do with everything, honestly.
Yeah. And blending is basically kind of like when you were a kid and you would mix two colors together and you would get a new color. Like red and yellow would
Uh,
make orange.
yeah, to an extent, yeah, for sure. It's kind of also just like you're doing like an ombre effect. So the fading of one color to the other.
Okay. Oh, good. This is a question we did cover in our last video, but we'll go over it really fast this time. Is there a big difference in cheap makeup than expensive makeup, or are they pretty much the same? And I think, Deborah, last time you said it somewhat depends on the brand and what you're looking for in the makeup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. So some of the more expensive makeup can actually come out to be more vibrant than cheaper. But I have experience with cheaper makeup coming out to be better vibrance than some of the more than more of the high end products. Just because they're high end doesn't mean they're going to be good. So, um, again, 90% of makeup stores will have it to where you can test the colors and shades and whatnot. So you can see what works for you. So you don't have to build an entire makeup around the high end stuff, because if you look at some like YouTubers, they do reviews on some of on the high end, and even they're just like, this is absolute crap. And whereas like NYX and Wet and Wild even, some of their products can actually beat out the nicer stuff.
So that's where we get into you just need to experiment. If you can get like little testers, or if you can go in and just play with the colors, that's going to help you a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know right now that's going to be a harder thing to do with the pandemic. They've taken out their testers, so you can't really test, which is a shame, but also understandable because, again, pandemic. But don't be afraid to even try ordering stuff on Amazon. Obviously read the reviews. That will be your best friend in that case. I have a couple
And
makeup palettes myself. Oh, I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
and remember to look at photos in the reviews, because those
Yes.
will help you more than the photos of that are the product photos.
Yeah. It is unfortunate truth that some companies steal photos from other even makeup artists. They'll steal photos from makeup artists or other products and use it in their stuff. So you got to be careful, especially when you're shopping on Amazon and or AliExpress for makeup. But read the reviews, look at the photo reviews, and that will help you a lot.
Yeah. All right. We were talking about contouring, and then we got it. And then you were discussing like round face. How do you
Mm-hmm.
tell what shape of face you have?
Yeah, so that's a harder one, honestly. I'm still kind of figuring that myself. Because there's like the heart, the diamond, and then the round, but then men have like squared, and so it's kind of
Oh,
honestly, you could just look at Google Images, and you can just be like, okay, how do I identify my face shape? And that will help you out. It'll give you pointers, be like, okay, if you've got like a dip here, and then it goes, down, that you've got more of a diamond shape. Mine is pretty clear. I'm round. Rebecca, I would probably put you at like either heart or oval. Um, so just because
which
you
is
have
actually
the
yeah, of the cheeks.
Mhm. Yeah, you've
But
got
this is
really
actually
nice
some
cheekbones.
Yay. But it's really important to realize is that people have different shaped faces. So characters will have different shaped faces. And if you're
Mhm.
trying now, again, as with everything, if you don't want to have to do a lot of makeup for your cosplay, you don't have to. But if you feel like it and you want to change your face shape to kind of mimic what your character is supposed to look like, power to you. Go for it. Do what makes you happy.
Yeah. And when you're just starting out, don't stress about contouring and all that stuff. I know with my first couple cosplays, I did not do makeup at all. I did a little bit of mascara, concealer, we're good. And some days it's all the energy you have for. So I mean, if that's what you want to do, go for it.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing is like if you only want to wear your full makeup for like the cosplay contest or for like a photo shoot or something, and then just wear like the normal makeup the rest of the day of the con, I think that's a okay thing too, right, Deborah?
Hmm. Oh yeah, for sure. I've done it myself a couple times where I go
Yeah.
back to like my hotel room and or just the women's bathroom. I have a makeup wipe with me. Swoop, make myself look mildly human, and there we go.
Yeah. Because I like unless you have good sealant and or good makeup that's going to stay on, um you like there's going to be lipstick marks and makeup getting all over hands and stuff. and cups.
Yeah, it takes a lot of energy to wear full face makeup, especially cosplay makeup sometimes. So it's understandable if you don't want to wear it all day. And I mean, like it's also just drying. So if it's hot or dry, just if yeah, it's a lot of energy.
Hmm. To not only put it on, but also to maintain it through the day. Because as you mentioned, like in Alaska, we don't have as big a problem unless it's raining, because we're in a cooler climate. But like, say you've been to cons down south in like California,
Hmm.
where it's like really hot and you're sweating, and it's like, oh, I can only imagine that sometimes just the makeup sweats off.
Yep. When I first went to it was AX Anime Expo in LA, uh, I was terrified because I've never had to worry about my makeup sweating off to that extent. So I actually, when we got to LA, we actually went makeup shopping there to double check, to see if their brands were, if they had anything better there. But I talked to a couple of makeup artists there. I'm just like, okay, I have no idea what the hell I'm doing here. What do I do to keep my makeup from just sweating off? And so we found like a waterproof eyeliner that takes a crap ton of effort to get that sucker off. Um, you could wear it swimming for like 2 days and it would not come off. So it was great to an extent, but then you couldn't get it off. um,
Yeah.
and then just yeah, it's a process. If you're going somewhere new, double check like, okay, is it waterproof? What's a good sealant? Do I need to put a primer on? Actually, I recommend putting primer on regardless, but it'll help.
Hmm. Oh, and we have another question. Is there an alternative to eyeliner? I have sensitive eyes. Ooh, that's a good question. What if you have like sensitive eyes or sensitive skin? Um, what's an alternative to eyeliner or any other makeup that might like you're sensitive to?
Hmm. If you're reacting to a specific makeup, it could be also be the brand you're using. I know I can't use like Urban Decay eyeliner or Fenty Fondue products, unfortunately. I love her stuff, but I can't use half of it because I get a reaction every time. So double check the brand. Don't be afraid to experiment with other stuff, even again, drugstore makeups like Revlon or Wet and Wild, different ones like that. Just give it a try. Maybe just again on if it's your face specifically, try it just on the side of your face and see how it reacts. We don't want to put it on near your eyes. But an
Mhm.
alternative to eyeliner actually can be eyeshadow. Um, as actually one of the if you're going for a softer look, a lot of cosplayers and or makeup artists will do that instead, just because it gives a softer look, not quite as bold. So that's a good one. It's just get a matte palette. Actually, I think I have one right here that really helps. It has blacks and browns, so you can just get that nice. So if you want that little bit of definition, but you don't have to worry about putting eyeliner. And then you'll want like an angled. It's actually called an eyeliner brush. It's really thin. It's angled, and then that will help you apply that no problem, and it'll look like eyeliner.
Mm, awesome. So another question. Is we got you were mentioning like colors, and I'm wondering like if you're trying to look more feminine versus more masculine, is there color palettes like you should favor for one look over the other?
For sure, yeah. So if you're trying to go for a more masculine look, you're definitely going to want to stay towards like the browns and grayish browns. Stay away from pinks or reds, as the more popular look for men looks is the mute colors. Unless you're trying to go for like an irritated eye or the male character has a little bit of red, then go for it. Just be careful that you're not doing too much red or pink, as that can make it look like you're crying or your eyes are irritated. Whereas for females, it's recommended to use a little bit, there's like I know for like some of the more like feminine ones that I go for has a little bit of pink, a grayish purple actually I use for the crease blending part. I can't remember the name exactly. Um, but that one will feminine will have generally more pinks because you got your pink cheeks, a little bit on the eyes, and then a good contour. So you'll have a range of nudes, grays, and then browns.
I find that interesting that pink for masculines is angry, but the pink for women is just kind of considered normal.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know there's cases. I saw a Victor cosplayer from Yuri on Ice. He actually used a reddish brown on his eyes, and that looked amazing. But I also know that cosplayer has more experience with doing more masculine cosplays, so they were able to blend it in a way that it didn't look like his eyes were irritated.
Mm. Yeah. So that's where the practice comes in, is practice, 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 and you
Mm-hmm.
get better.
Yeah, for sure.
As we discussed earlier during this podcast, makeup's not easy. There are simple techniques, and you can do really simple things and look absolutely gorgeous. And then there are really complex things that can make you also look gorgeous. And it's just like you just have to do what you can do.
Yep.
Ooh, we have another question. Can you use makeup on other parts of your body than your face?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Actually, one of the cosplayers for the masculine, actually, they recommend doing contouring on your neck and chest area. That will help give a broader look than us. You get like that Adam's apple that men have. But yeah, no, for sure. I've used it to give myself fake muscles because I don't have a definition on my arms at all. So we've used it for that. You can even do it for if you're getting body paint. You can use it to, define different things on your hand or arms. So don't be afraid to use it anywhere else if you need it. I had my roommate actually used eyeliner to do. They were doing it was an A2, yeah, A2 from Near Automata, and on her stomach, A2 has these lines. So instead of getting body paint, we used actually that eyeliner I was talking about earlier that doesn't come off. We used that instead to create the lines on the stomach.
Mm. Yeah. So I'm getting the hint that basically makeup in its various forms is like different types of paint, and your body is the canvas. And you just need to know how to
Exactly.
properly use that paint and the techniques, and then you can basically almost create anything.
Yeah.
Quite
No, let's say
possibly with enough experience.
Yeah, makeup is it's a form of art. It takes a lot of practice, and there's different methods to do it. There's no one right way. I can speak English, I promise. But yeah, no, so don't be afraid to use eyeshadow or eyeliner on different parts. I use eyeshadow on my lips sometimes to get a specific color if I can't find the lipstick.
Hmm. So how would you do that? Like you take the eyeliner, and do you need to mix it with something or just put it straight on?
Uh, you kind of depends on like what you're doing. Um, First you're gonna if you're going for more like a very dramatic look, you're gonna want to put a base down on your lips so it covers. A lot of makeup artists actually put foundation on their lips, um, which I only recommend doing that if you're going for a very dramatic lip that doesn't cover too well. Most lipsticks will cover your natural lip color, no problem. So you don't have to worry about that. But if you're using, again, eyeshadow or eyeliner instead, granted, lip liner also is cheaper than eyeliner. Just go with that if you can. Uh, but I have a lipstick I use as a base, just like really light. and then I put eyeshadow on top of it. You can use your finger, or if you have a makeup brush, like a flat one generally, and just you pat it on, and that will. It's going to be dependent on what your eyeshadow pigmentation is, but that will help a lot.
Okay. Any other tips and tricks for like if you're trying to cosplay specific things? Because we've talked a little bit about hiding your eyebrows,
Mm-hmm.
contouring, which is I kind of like you talk about it and it sounds like shadowing to me when like artists talk about having to shadow things to give it depth.
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
Okay, so I was understanding this. Yay, I'm learning
Yeah, you're
things.
good.
I am learning so many things from this podcast. Ooh, we have another question. If I wanted to make my look a little more animalistic like a lion, what tips would you suggest to make that happen?
Ooh,
Ooh,
that's a good one. So
very
let's see, if
good.
you want to go more animalistic, that's a whole other genre of makeup, honestly. It's gonna be dependent on like, do you want to make it look more cartoonish? Do you want to go base it off of like the Cats the play? Because their makeup was actually pretty good. So that one is definitely something you have to look at to like, okay, how realistic do you want this to look? But generally, you're gonna want a combination of body paint and everyday makeup. That will help a lot. Uh, if you're trying to go for like the furred look on your face, that one's gonna be a lot harder to do. I'm unfortunately not familiar with animalistic body paint, unfortunately, but I would recommend looking up Mehenron, and they have some videos, I believe. Still, it's been a couple years since I've looked, but they had some videos way back when on how to do that kind of look. But that's something you'll have to kind of decide, like, do you want more realistic or do you want more play kind of style?
And when we're talking about cats, we're talking about the Broadway musical one, not the recent one.
Yes. Yes. No, I don't even know where to begin on that one. I only just recently
Yeah,
saw a photo on that, and
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
going there.
But oh, so moving on to a question. So I want to eventually cosplay my D&D character. Yes, I think that's awesome.
Oh, it's so much
That would
fun.
be.
It is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's a lion shifter. I am not as familiar as I should be with D&D, so I am
No,
not.
you're good. I actually, I think I know who this is if I think who it is. Um, but so lion shifters in D&D. So they're humanoid, and essentially think of them like werewolves, but they can
Okay.
shift at will. But it's a lion instead of a werewolf. So think of it kind of like that. That's the basic of basic ways to put it. Um, okay. I'm trying to think of like the best way to do that. So clearly you're gonna want to focus a lot on the nose for sure. So you're gonna want to make sure. I believe you're gonna want to try to make your nose look more flat. So in this case, you're gonna want to contour just a little bit on the side, but you're gonna want to make it look like the top of your nose is wider, so it flattens it out more. And then again, I know it's really weird, but you're gonna put contour on the tip of your nose, so it looks like you're flattening it, kind of like that. I don't know if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. Um,
Yeah. I think I've seen it. This is where they're going to really want to pay attention to Cats, the Broadway musical, because I remember
mhm.
looking at their makeup and they did look like they had like true cat noses. And it's I
Yes.
think it's just kind of like it's an illusion where they painted out and around the nose so it looked like a flat nose and it you didn't see it until they turned to the side where their human nose.
Yes. Yes. That's exactly what it is. You really gotta, honestly, the Broadway is your best reference for that. I, last I remember a while back, I saw that someone did a makeup tutorial on them. on how they did their looks. I don't know. Again, it's been a long time since I've seen their stuff, so I can't really say for sure. But I'm 100% sure you probably find something on YouTube on how to exactly get that cat nose, and then especially the cheeks. Oh, here we go, Casey.
Uh,
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah. So if you were
Yeah.
just sticking with like more natural colors, you could also, again, just use a contour palette and everyday browns and like light pinks for this. But like around the mouth, just lighten that up a little bit with some like skin toned highlighter. I think for most of y'all, the lightest highlighter on makeup palettes will work fine for you. Eyebrows for sure. You don't depending on how thick his their eyebrows are, you could honestly keep your natural eyeliner, so you don't have to worry about covering that up. Just get it a little bit more dramatic. Again, that eye shape, or the eye shape, good lord, I'm sorry, the eyebrow shape. Um, that's really easy to do. Just thicken it, brush it up a little bit, blend it. You should be good. If you want to do the cat stripes, you can. I don't know if shifters have that or not. But yeah, you just got the nose line down the middle, and then you can do that lip. Really cute, honestly.
Mm-hmm. But it kind of
But
looks
yeah.
like from the image, he had like at least two, possibly three different foundations. At like he had used one here. Oh, yep, there it is. So there's one around the
Yeah.
mouth area. Then there's like one right here that's blended into the rest, and then it kind of goes down the neck.
So from what it looks like, so they got two, so it's gonna be two base colors. So one around the mouth and then one around the rest of the face. And then that's just really good contouring. So
Mm.
it's a slightly darker shade, and also lighting as well will do wonders. But he has really nice cheekbones too. So, but also that's contouring too. The contour really brings out those cheekbones. So you could really
Mm-hmm.
just you can even fake that too if you get a third darker color, and just you could contour so it makes it look like you have that dramatic cheekbone. Yeah, see,
Oh,
exactly.
yes.
And there's the eyebrows you were talking about earlier.
Yep. Yep, because you can kind of like if you look around the photo, you see like her eyebrows, and then you're seeing like the cat eyebrows that go way up. So in this case, they made the choice to leave. So it kind of looks like almost she has two eyebrows, or because she is a
Mm-hmm.
cat, she's got two stripes.
Exactly, yeah. But definitely, like I see, instead of bringing the lines on the lip down, they just put it right on top of her natural uh, lip shape, and then just curved it up a little bit to give that, that cute little cat lip thing. And that you
Mm,
could do with basic eyeliner, and then little dots for whiskers. If you want to be
yeah,
dramatic, you can actually get whiskers too, but that's dependent on how dramatic you want to be.
nice.
But yeah,
So
no,
like,
I to hopefully if you're here in Alaska seeing that.
yeah. The questions were absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for asking them. I never would have thought of like, oh, how would the you portray yourself with more animalistic features, which is actually something that occasionally you have to do because like we just had some animes that came out where there were animal like creatures. Like
Mm-hmm.
oh, what was it? It was the one on Netflix just recently.
Beastars?
Well, there is Beastars, but there's also it's about the little raccoon girl.
Oh, I don't remember the name of that one, but
I know I'm
yes.
drawing a blank right now. But anyway, she like if you wanted to cosplay her, she looks very human but with animalistic features. So you could just use a lot of the ideas from there. Um I just yes, that's it. BNA. Thank you. Oh goodness. I just was like, I know it starts with a B. I think it starts with a B. I'm not sure.
I can't. Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's a really good those were really good questions because those are weird questions that you're not really going to find outside of the cosplay community, because for the most part it's cosplayers who are doing weird things. Now, is that to say that only cosplayers are going to want to cosplay as animals? No, because you do have a lot of Halloween costumes where people want to be like, oh, I want to be an animal.
Well,
How do I
actually,
do that?
not just cosplayers, but actors and Broadway people for sure. So you
Oh,
can even look into Broadway productions. Again, that's why we said Cats, the play, because they're perfect references. Their makeup is on point, and same with a lot of Broadway productions. If you're going into photo shoot makeup, Broadway, there's a lot of Broadway YouTube videos that will help you get that look.
yeah. And that's where we go back into the whole, if you want to look good in photos versus looking good in person, there's also kind of a third category if you want to look good on stage. Because
Yes.
I know stage makeup, you have to put it on really thick. At least that's what I've heard, to be able to have like the features um, be seeable from people all throughout the theater.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, for sure. That it's gonna be bright, dark, depending on, again, it's got lighting as well because they have very, very bright lights that sucker's hot too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be caked on. Otherwise, they're gonna look flushed out, just pale white. Unless they're going for that, then they don't have to worry about it. But if you want
Yeah.
definition and the dramatic, especially female faces, if they're having the dramatic, actually, scratch that. If they're going for a dramatic look, it's gonna look horrendous off stage, but on stage, mwah.
Yep. Yep. Um, is there anything else we need to cover? Because we've done contouring, we've done color palettes for male and female, we've done hiding the eyebrows, we've talked a little bit about body paint and how you can use eyeshadowing and eyeliner to do other things.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know one of the questions I've gotten recently was how to do a 5 o'clock shadow.
Oh,
Uh, so that one, honestly, it's a little bit tricky depending on your skin tone. And then again, hair color as well. If you're just going for, the basic like dark 5 o'clock shadow, get a contour and a matte uh, eyeshadow palette. And you're gonna get like a really thick, bushy brush and kind of pat it between two different colors, a brown, and I know some people recommend like a gray, like a grayish brown, kind of pat that between the two. And then you're just gonna pat it on your face. Don't swipe, don't blend, just pat. Um, it's gonna that's honestly gonna be like your best bet. And then you're gonna darken it up in certain areas. Like I know like the chin will probably be slightly darker, and then along the jawline. And then you're just gonna lighten the color as you go up. Again, you're gonna want to look at the YouTube video because I can't show you unfortunately how to do it too well here myself, but that will be your best bet. Look up a video, and then I know someone recommended using like a dark green. I don't trust that, but
that's where you've
supposedly.
got to start going into the practicing. You'll
Mhm.
have to take the different recommendations and figure out what works for your skin, because again, it's going to be like what works for your skin, what works for the foundation you've chosen.
That too, for sure. If you're using a powdered foundation over a liquid foundation, that's your base layer. That's going to that will alter on how things are going to lay on your face for sure.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that's
Anybody
just
else?
about.
Yep. That's just about it, unless anyone else has some questions. If you do, or if you think of questions later, feel free to send them to Deborah. What was that email address again?
It'll be whatever my email address is. It'll be dfleischer@senshicon.org. It should be down below in the description there for you guys so you know how to spell my last name. But yeah, don't be afraid to hit up questions, and then I can either email you directly, or we'll let you know if we're gonna do it in our next episode.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of the next episode, the next episode is planned for February 6th, which will be at the same time, 2:15, same place, YouTube. And we look forward to seeing you. Thank you so much for joining us this week.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing you guys next time. Don't be afraid to tune in. Don't forget to like and subscribe too. Let you know when we're doing this.
Yes. Yeah. Alrighty. It was good talking to y'all. Thank you for joining us. And we hope you have a great weekend. It looks like it's trying to snow here in Anchorage, Alaska. So if you are out on the roads or you're going to go someplace, please be safe. All right.